Well, hey, welcome to Comic Book News. It's me, your old pal Dan Shaheen. Yeah, that was last week's opening credits. Can I say it's been a rough week? I haven't had a lot of time. In fact, what is it? It's Friday. This show was supposed to be on Tuesday. A lot of things have happened. If you watch this show, you know 2020 has been a crazy year for the world of comics, and the world of Dan Shaheen. A lot of death going on in my life. In the last month, I lost 5 people close to me and a cat. None of them to anything pandemic related or anything like that. Just all weird random occurrences. I had 2 surgeries this year as well, like that I didn't know I was going to need to have. And other things are just happening. We had a comet. Did anybody see the comet that was like unexpected that was in the skies? Anyway, what a year. This is 2020. One of the things I've been waiting all year for is to get to my mailbag. Man, here, the mail processing center at Comic Book News, it's going crazy 24/7 processing all of the comics that you folks are sending for me to take a look at. And, as a matter of fact, if you want to be a guest or have your comics reviewed on Comic Book News, all you got to do is email me, cbn@danshaheen.com. I'll hook you up with where to mail it at. Pretty soon we're going to have a P.O. box and you can mail directly to that. I'll show that on the show. It's going to be fantastic. Tonight, what are we going to do? We're going to go through that mailbag. Get a lot of stuff. I get a lot of emails and a lot of PDFs. We're not looking at PDFs tonight. I don't really read PDFs. I'm sorry. I have a hard time. Like, I look at a screen enough. When I want to read comics, I read comic books. What can I say? So we're going to look at paper comics. Now, how are we going to do that? Well, it's the return of the $1 Million Comics. Cam, you've seen it here before. Once on a live show, we teased it for a second. Tonight, we're going to go in. I'm going to dive into the mailbag. I'm going to look at these comics. I've read them all. I'm going to talk about them. But I've got a special guest, and I want to bring him in right now. This man he's going to be what? He's going to be the Simon Cowell. Is that even a reference anybody even knows? Is that already old? And I think that's hip, but it's not. Anyway, he's here. We're going to call him the Dream Slayer. Maybe we're going to call him the Potential Pooper. I don't know what we're going to call him. You know him and you love this guy as Larry Young, AIT Planet Lair. Welcome to Comic Book News, Larry.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks for having me. How are you?
Dude, I've been trying to get you here forever. Forever. And it's like, what is the Larry show? Larry doesn't have comics. Larry, tell us, what do you do?
Right now?
Yeah, what do you do?
You mean just like, okay, well, the way I look at it, I'm a part-time pop culture entertainment gadfly, where I just tell people what I think about stuff. I got my fingers in some pies. I do script coverage. I'm collecting my Shield columns. I did the Agents of Shield show. I did a column for spunkybean.com for 7 years. And that we're collecting it as a book that's coming out pretty soon. 304 pages. If you remember the Surviving Grady Red Sox book that we did at Planet Lair.
Yes,
it's exactly that same size and shape. Man, but
I remember when Planet Lair was was like cutting edge on the cusp. What is Planet Lair? Like, come on, for all the people who maybe knew Larry when his beard was maybe closer to my shade, I don't know. Tell us about Planet Lair a little bit.
Back at the turn of the century, I published comics, and I wrote my own Astronauts in Trouble. And I sent it around, and people were like, "Hey, that's great, but comics are dying. Good luck." So I published it myself, and then I published some other stuff. I was like, "Hey, we got this whole process going. Let's." I guess the first one was Nobody, the Charlie Adlard, Alex Amato, Sharon Cho book from Oni. They had solicited a trade. I think it was 4 issues, and they just didn't get the numbers that made it make sense for Oni. And since Charlie had done the art for, I don't know if you know Charlie Adlard.
Too bad that guy never went on to do anything after working with you, Larry.
I think he did this little art house thing called Walking Dead. People might be familiar with.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, I love that because Kirkman always says that he brought the astronauts brought Charlie to his attention. So I love that one. But anyway, yeah.
Tell me some other creators though that got their start. There's a few others I think that people might know of that kind of did some work for you early on at Planet Lair.
Well, guys at either early in their career, super early in their career, or that we published them first. Of course, Brian Wood from Channel Zero, Adam Beechin, longtime DC guy, Matt Fraction, Kieran Dwyer, the Brazilian twins, Fabio Moon and Gabriel Ba. Ba's doing Umbrella Academy now. Geez, there's got to be somebody I'm forgetting. The Sky Ape guys.
Sky Ape. Oh man, I forgot about Sky Ape. Love that Sky Ape.
No kidding. Like 3 weeks ago, I got an email out of the blue from somebody that wants to option that. And I'm like, well,
yeah.
I'm your guy, but our contracts with the Skype guys, it's been gone for a while. But I'll tell you, here's their email.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So who doesn't want to see a gorilla with a jetpack? That's
know. Second best idea in comics.
Huh. So
that was our marketing.
What was the first, Larry?
Well, that's our marketing. Like, you can think whatever you want is the best idea, but Sky Ape was second.
Okay, well, all right. Well, so let's just talk a little bit about publishing and comics and like. Mm-hmm. So your thing was always like, look, guys, forget about floppies. Publish a GN because why? Tell me your philosophy on that.
Well, one of my favorite things was Rich Johnson from Bleeding Cool said that I completely redefined comics for the 21st century, which I thought was awesome. And it was kind of an accident in that I was on the Warren Ellis forum, and that was kind of a crucible for creatives back in the day. And people would say, and we'd put our floppies out, and people would say, oh, well, I don't care. I'm just going to wait for the trade paperback. And I'm like, look, just economically, that doesn't work for me because I have to do a press release and arrange a cover colorist. And if you just wait, I'm not going to have the money to pay the printing bill for the trade. And so one day I just got kind of disgusted. I'm like, all right, you guys want the trade paperback? Here's a goddamn trade paperback. And we would wait. I sort of did that with Astronauts in Trouble because I'd worked with Hibbs as his minister of propaganda for Comics Experience. And I knew retailers were like really suspicious of independent guys because you'd come out with a big blast and then never finish it. And retailers are holding the bag. So I had an idea for the Astronauts in Trouble, and we did 5 issues. And so somebody would give me a hard time and go, oh, it's never coming out. And I'm like, dude, tell me, I'll drop you the Xeroxes right now. And we had 110 pages of comics. It's done. This is coming out every 28 days. There's nothing you can say about it. And everybody went, wow, that's cool. And so it's a really small leap to, well, if you're doing the whole trade, if you're doing all the floppies first, you might as well just do it as a trade. And then you only have to write one press release and do one cover and then collect all the money, and it's in print forever. And there's no sort of like, oh, here's the floppies, just because the audience had been trained to do floppies. So that's what buy floppies. But that's what I think that's what they were talking about, that I redefined it, because it's like, you want original graphic novels? Okay, here you go. Shut up and give me your money.
It's really close to the current Netflix binge drop the entire season model, right? You put the season, you get the season in the can before you don't do it as you're going along. Sort of thing. Yeah. I wish I had the resources of Netflix to do that, but well, when the AIT Netflix series drops, like, come on, how many is AIT under option right now?
The Astronauts? Yeah, it's being shopped around. Yeah, I wonder if I can say who has it. I don't know.
You know, say it here for a CBN exclusive.
Stephen LaRue has the rights to shop it around. I think he's doing the Lord's work on the Astronauts. There's always something going on, and especially now. We were talking before we went live about green screen. Oh
Yeah,
my God. You've seen The Mandalorian, right?
I
The
have.
Yeah, and then you saw the behind the scenes stuff where they have this
I haven't seen it yet. No, that I haven't seen.
set they call the volume, and
Yeah.
it's got broadcast quality computer backgrounds on the walls. And
Yes.
so the astronauts went from being a $200 million movie to like you and me could probably do it. You know?
Yeah, it's
So,
amazing that new technology.
yeah.
I've been wanting to get a green screen around here, but there's just the acoustics are not right in the mail room. So
Right, right. Well, it's a vast space. Maybe you could probably shoot a RoboCop remake in there.
well, I think what we can do, Larry, is we want to get a little bit more intimate, right? When we want to get into some comics. So why don't
Okay.
we dive
Right.
into the mailbag, and we'll come
Let's
back
do
to the
it.
conversation. I want to talk to you a little bit when we're done about Star Trek and a few other things, man, that you're known for. But I want to jump into what we've advertised here, which is the $1 million mailbag. So without further ado, let's see if this works.
Can I tell a quick story about my friend
Yeah.
Jason McNamara and
Please.
the whole dream killing thing?
Yeah.
Back when people would pitch me stuff all the time, and I've known Jason forever. He's a great guy, talented writer. He's a lunatic. I love him. But he made the mistake of coming up to me on Sunday out of San Diego, where everybody's done by then, and he's like, "Oh, I want to pitch you this horror anthology," and I just went because I was kind of loose because it's the end of the show, and he's my friend, and I was like, "Oh, Jason, man, I hate anthologies. They only sell as best. They only sell as good as the worst story in it." You know,
Right.
and I don't understand horror. I can't market it. That's a nightmare. And he was just like, "Oh, it's my dream." And I was like, the next day, I like super apologized to him, and I'm like, I don't mean to step on your dreams. I'm just not the guy to share that one with you. You know, that particular dream, your dream of being a porn star. You know, that's good. So I think this will work here.
Yeah. You don't know how happy I am to hear that, because one of our books is a horror anthology.
I hate it already. That guy needs to get back. No, sorry.
So without further ado, let's go. Let's dive into it. Where else? Where else, Larry, but in the $1 Million Comics Camp?
Nice.
Oh, yeah. Oh, baby. Oh, $1 million. Gonna make you holler in the $1 Million Comics Camp. This thing is a technological marvel that I've been working on over the course of a year. So we still got a few bugs to work out of the system. Oh, wait a minute. Like that one, for instance. And let's go. Oh, yeah. This is where we want to be, because what we have to do is, this is a little bit too big. I need to I need to shrink down. I need to pop a Pym particle and get down to ant size. And we can check it out here. Oh, in the MDCC. It's Free Comic Book Day, and these are the free comics that folks have been sending me. Been pretty amazing. Oh, I see what is going on here. I understand what the problem is. I got to turn off green screen. Yeah. Over here. Fantastic. Okay, so now we can take a look at this stuff. First of all, we'll take a look at the horror anthology. You nailed it, Larry. We'll go straight into that, because I think, of all the stuff I got, I actually none of it was horrible. Like I expected it to be not so great, but pleasantly surprised by every single thing. One of the surprises, though, was it's the same comic. This was a crowdfunded comic, but there's a special edition that has a special edition cover, which I didn't really like as much. I like the standard edition. So we're going to look at that. It's kind of Dave McKean-esque. It's called Keepsakes.
I was just going to say, the special edition is like not the quality cover. I mean, that one right there is hot. That looks great. I love that.
I totally agree. Like, I feel like, I don't know, if I had a choice.
It does the job. It's just not as dynamic. I mean, it's rare that a single illustration of a face tells more story than. But come on, the angle the artist chose on the special edition one of going up the guy's ass is not that's not commercial. It's
not
just
my favorite.
Yeah.
I will say though that
Not
putting the logo at the top is probably a better choice if you're talking about newsstand appeal.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay,
well, you know, right? Stuff goes face out for 7 days, and that's
if
that.
And you're lucky to get a full facing in most stores, right? In most comic book stores, this comic might look something like this.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Special edition, on the other hand, you know, at least you're going to see the title. And I am sorry, the $1 Million Comics Cam can't quite fit an entire comic in here, but so.
Oh, we get it though. How funny, right? The special edition should have had the painted cover and the regular one, the trade dress at the top. Yeah, that's
okay.
Cool. I
mean, what we got here is sort of a Twilight Zone. The series, not the series. I was thinking Friday the 13th, the series, but sort of one of those horror anthologies, kind of loosely tied together. These guys are going through their dad's old basement, and their dad had a lot of weird stuff. Like, what is this? Dad's dead, and there's a box and it says Bloodstalkers. So we're into the story called Bloodstalkers, right? Comics wise, solid stuff. It's got a style to me that's I don't know, closer, a little more cartoony, a little more maybe Mad Magazine-ish, but it works for the type of story. It's sort of they want to be like a Ghost Hunters kind of thing, so it's a little tongue-in-cheek, like those TV series, Ghost Hunters. You know what I mean, like reality show.
Dan, can you do me a quick favor? Go back to the inside front cover.
Yeah, you know
what? Give the writer a shout out because he's the guy that's running everything.
For sure.
Right?
Oh, that was the other thing too, is that I don't have my notes in front of me for any of this stuff, and that's with a reason, because I want to look at this as if like here's the comic, here's the object, and here's how they're promoting. So what we've got is G.A. Alexander did the writing and the lettering.
Well, that's what that was the first thing I saw. It's like, okay, you're in an anthology. Somebody's running the whole show. And if the writer is doing his lettering, that's awesome. First of all, I do that too. I've lettered, I don't know, 2,000 pages of comic art because you get to do editing at the same time. And you don't need a meeting, right? Can I change this? Yeah, go ahead. So that's cool. And I want to give these guys a shout out for doing the job. I mean, no matter what we say, it's just our opinion.
For sure.
But so that's why I was like, good work on doing the job. And now I'm going to crap in your dreams.
Yeah. Production wise, it's not the worst of the books that I've got for sure. Nice thick cover stock. It's glossy. The pages are a little glossier than I like for a black and white book, but it works okay. The story was, it's funny. It's okay. It reminds me a little of, tongue-in-cheek, almost like if you ever read Mr. Monster back in the day. A little bit like that. So we've got sort of twist. And my problem with it is that like they're trying to do an EC twist ending kind of thing a lot, but the endings are usually just like, oh, here's something creepy. There's not like a twist to it so much.
What do you think it is with horror anthologies? Because there's just something about horror things that the guys don't feel confident that the story can hold a full book or something, or they don't have time, or I don't know. I mean, that's why I'm asking the question, because I just see a horror anthology and I'm like, no, I don't care. Like, I'm sorry.
Maybe it's that we're not horror fan. I don't know. I've never been a horror guy. I don't really get I don't get a visceral thrill out of it per se. Yeah. I think it's sort of, the anthology thing to me is like, I got a few story scraps together. Maybe I don't have enough for a full book, but these are being tried. He's trying to tie them together thematically. There's these text pieces that are, and I don't quite understand this. I'm really tried, guys. I'm not dumb, but I'm not the smartest guy either. I'm not going to pretend that. But so there's these text pieces that are letters to this Blue American Petroleum, which is like the gas station that we see here on the special edition cover, and like it's sort of unclear exactly what's going on here. And these are like letters. I don't want to give away the story, but it's almost like a guy writing to the story, like, I went to your gas station and there was really weird stuff going on there, and then I left. So it didn't quite work for me. Art-wise, though, the mixture of stories, like there's a bunch of different artists and different styles. So here we get into this one, obviously more manga influenced, right? Obviously more kind of the Ring-ish, I guess, is where I'm what I'm looking at. Creepy visuals for sure. But it's pretty much just a pizza delivery guy shows up and there's monsters. And maybe it's because he drank her booze. And maybe it's drugged, but I almost thought that's what they were going to imply, is that when he drank this booze, because that's when everything started, but it's never really satisfactorily explained. It just ends.
Yeah.
So this one wasn't my favorite of the stories, but art-wise, all of them are pretty solid stuff as far as like storytelling, anatomy, penciling and inking, panel to panel progression. The lettering is it's not amateurish for sure. Like many
it does the job,
for sure.
Do you remember that book, Proof of Concept, I did? Where it was the only book I did with different artists.
Yeah, I do.
And we had an interstitial thing where Kieran Dwyer did Last of the Independents with Fraction, did some thing, and the conceit was I was pitching stories to my lawyer to see which one we'd do as a trade.
Okay.
So that gives a thematic reason. So I'm sure that's what that guy was trying to do with the letters to the gas station. But because comics is a visual medium, that's an awesome idea, but you really need to have the through line. It's like, remember that heavy metal cartoon? They had different, but you had a through line story in the interstitial bit about the girl in the Lochnar, and the big reveal at the end is she grows up to be Barbarella, whatever her name was. Tarna, something like that.
It ties back in thematically. They try to tie it all together in a creepy basement. Like the pieces are there. I can see the intent. The text pieces, I don't know. You got to kind of be Alan Moore to pull that off. It's hard to pull that off in a way in a comic that doesn't interrupt the flow and the pace of reading the comic in a really weird way.
Here's the one suggestion I would make. This is a valiant effort. Can you flip back near the end where there's the other way? There's a big page of text. Well, that'll work. You can't do that. You need a lot more negative space. That's the one I was like, oh, nobody's looking at that cool monster and then reading, 600 words.
Maybe, I don't know. I feel like
I don't know.
I'm reading Dave Sim or something.
I guess, but you gotta be Dave Sim to pull that off, right?
I guess so. I don't know. That's where Sim lost me. So.
I don't know. Dave, I would have followed Dave into the heart of the sun. The crazier that guy got, the more I wanted to read. Anyway.
Okay. So now I got a few in one pack, and I'm sorry because I mixed up my packages and stuff, and I don't have all my letters and whatever, but it's been a crazy time. I believe all three of these came from the same place, from Heroinberg in Pittsburgh. They sent me a package, right, of their Heroinberg comics. And I think this was in the same package, and I know this was in the same package. And I was kind of surprised by all of them a little bit. Let me start with let's start with Heroinberg. They watch this show a lot and comment and are like participants, and apparently are like and from Pittsburgh, which is where I was born, right? So
no kidding, I didn't know that.
Yeah, near and dear to my heart in that way. I mean, I lived there till I was 1, Larry. So.
Oh, okay, all right.
But my whole family was from there. And here's the heroine. Let me zoom in on the $1 trillion comics cam. And you can see here, they're a cosplay troupe.
I love it. Right? Yeah.
And they've got a whole group of heroines and villains. Okay. And this book really serves as sort of like a way to just sort of introduce all those characters and the struggle. Apparently, wait a minute. I like this when I read it. Hang on, let me read this. One fateful night, a meteor from space imbued with immense dark energy explodes above Pittsburgh, irradiating the unsuspecting populace and causing unusual epigenetic mutations on the XX chromosomes of select Pittsburgh women, who begin to develop astounding superhuman powers. Some use their new abilities for the benefit of the community, and some exploit them for selfish gain. That's the way. That's always the way.
So girls, just in general, right?
And boys, come on, Larry. Let's not go there. Come on.
Just teasing.
The virtuous champions eventually form an alliance, the Pittsburgh Heroin League, endorsed by the city's law enforcement. Meanwhile, the villainesses are hired by a mysterious cabal called the Black Faction, sworn to discredit the league members and reduce them to vigilantes. With dozens of superpowered females in its city limits, what was once known as the Steel City now gains a new world title as Heroinburg. Welcome to Heroinburg, Larry. Okay.
Dan, your audience knows you're a retailer too, right? I mean,
I'm an ex-retailer. Yeah.
Ex-retailer. But you've told them about the 10-second test, right? Where you got 10 seconds to flip through, and you know if you're buying that or not.
So I wish I brought that up on the Keepsakes. Like, not this, like, for instance, Keepsakes, this is obviously not meant for a comic book store for a couple of reasons. I mean, there's no price on it.
Right.
There's no barcode on it. There's nothing. I don't even think there's is there an indicia? There's not really even a true indicia on Keepsakes. Heroinburg, they're trying here. We got the credit section. So let's go to the credits, as you rightfully said. Let's give credit where credit is due to Manny Fainer, the creator, writer, and editor. Benjamin Zeus Barnett, the artist and letterer. We'll have to talk about him. Jason Wright, front cover and character art. Marcel Walker, back cover pinup. Okay. And there's a couple sensational stories in this issue. So right off the bat, if we're going to say art and lettering, this first page is probably not my favorite page in the book. Couple reasons. Perspective going on here. I don't know what angle we're at that we're looking at this bookshelf in this room at. I don't know if you can really tell.
Yeah, I can tell. Look at the desk. The desk and the laptop are like in another dimension from the shelves and the window behind it.
Yeah, the perspective is disconnected from the shelf and the rest of the scene. Otherwise, I think it's a neat. It's obviously composited somehow. Yeah. This is where it starts to get better, though. I really liked it further. Like, as I went in, the first page turned me off. As I went further, I really, really love the coloring on this book. I love the sort of softness to it. I gotta hide me again. Let's see. Hide me. I like the softness of it. I like the color choices. I like some of the costume design.
If these guys pitched this at me at a con, they'd be crying right now. Because just from a marketing standpoint, a lot of people forget that their dreams are their dreams. And the whole idea of making a comic and wanting an audience to enjoy your dreams is to make it accessible to everybody. So, first of all, Heroinburg is like possibly the worst title ever. Because I was all excited to see this, crazy street level drug fueled thing about heroin in Pittsburgh. And you have to know that there's an E in there. Oh, heroin with girls? All right. And then there's superheroes, which, I mean, I'm the guy. I don't think we need another superhero book in the world. If I could tell anything to indie guys, don't give me your idea, your take on Superman or your girl team or whatever, because nobody cares if it's not from Marvel or DC. And that includes Image and Dark Horse. Like, nobody needs another superhero book, and nobody wants to hear that because all they want to do is draw superheroes.
Well, I mean, I kind of take exception to that. It's a good superhero book to me. It's good. I don't draw that distinction. Like I read plenty of comics. There are really good superhero books being done every week. So
I was talking from a marketing standpoint. I mean, you're not going to get a toehold into the industry doing Invincible or something. Kirkman didn't do that until, he did Battle Pope. You have to do something insane that is just you, right, to get your foot in, and then you can draw Metamorpho or do Heroenberg.
To be fair, yeah, I don't think their goal here was at all to make a comic like a continuing series or anything like that. It's more like almost like to use as sort of like their convention thing. They can sell at conventions. They can talk about their characters themselves. So from that,
so they're a cosplay group.
Yeah.
Well, this is awesome. Then that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's the exact opposite. Because because then that's just a takeaway. If you're getting a copy of that from one of the women who are dressed up so cool, that's a different story. Here's my adventures in comic.
Well, it's not just a cosplay group, Larry. It's an original live-action superheroine video series with 2 seasons of episodes available for download.
Yeah, see, I thought it was just a comic. No, that's great.
Yeah.
A takeaway. That's awesome.
Exactly. Like as a comic, I don't come away from this wanting to buy number 2.
Yeah, that doesn't matter about the perspective in the front end. I mean, that's not the best first splash page ever. But
here's what I don't like about it.
But you've already talked to somebody at a
why the black border on this page, and then we get into the rest of it is pleasing, and I do like the way these pages look. This is by far my least favorite page, and it's the first page you're going to see if you open this book.
But like you said, it's not, the comic's not an afterthought really, but it's just part of their multi-marketing, plan to get stuff out there. The video, and I'm sure they have a podcast.
But if I open to a page that looked like these pages, like these are attractive to me. These pages, these are well drawn, well colored.
I do like. I like the subtle choice, like you said, the almost pastel-y colors. That's nice.
I've always liked that kind of look. Okay, so let's move on from Heroenberg. Thank you guys so much, and they do their show, and they have a YouTube channel and everything.
There's a website or something, right? They have that info.
Let's see. Yeah, let me plug that. Of course.
Yeah, give them the URL.
Of course, heroenberg.com. Download an episode today. They're 30 to 40 minutes long for the price of a premium comic book. So, wow, what a bargain.
I went from like, that comic to like, I'm definitely going to that website and see what they're doing.
Totally.
So, yeah, doing the job. Okay. Like I said, that's good.
All right. So another book that was sent to me in the same package is The Edge. Okay. So this is The Edge. 25 years, 1991 to 2016. I don't know what that means. It says $3.99 PG, and this is issue number 1. Now, the first thing I'm going to say about this book, the cover is what it is. It's okay, except it's trimmed. It's smaller than the interior pages. So the pages are sticking out on both the top and the bottom of the cover. So right away, either the book was not trimmed after the cover was added, or the covers were right away. That's a mark against it to me.
Yeah, that's crazy. They trimmed the cover and then bound it. That's pretty weird.
And maybe it's just the copy I got. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, but it's not something
That's a weird printing thing because they bind it and trim it usually.
Okay, so let's do high concept. Larry, you count to 10 like while I read the high concept, okay?
Okay, all right.
Due to the sensitive nature of the Edge and its top secret, wait a minute. It is not known. Wait a minute.
They lost you already.
Yeah, we're getting into what we don't know, but what do we know? Due to the sensitive nature of the Edge and its top secret classification, not much is known about its origins. It's also unknown if the information is based on fact or fiction. It is to this day unclassified by the FDA. Without this classification, it's difficult to categorize what the Edge is. It could be a steroid or an enhancement. Since the first known case of an Edge carrier, they have been known as the Enhanced. This name is stuck until this very day. What does the Edge enhance? From the research this has been done over the years, the edge appears to activate or perhaps reactivate a repressed genome. The genome enhances semi-natural abilities that may or may not have been present in human RNA. For now, it's unknown why only a few people, blah, blah, blah. These abilities are not limited in their range, class, or destructive nature. Okay, so it's a super drug. That's my 1 second pitch.
I totally get why you would feel the need to put something in front of your story if it's issue 1. But you have to go to the Star Trek, right? It's space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise. Go. You can't say, nobody knows what this is. We'll lose that paragraph because you're trying to tell us what's going on, not I don't know what's going on. I get the conceit. You're trying to say, oh, there's this mysterious super drug that's interacted with people in weird ways. Here's what happened. But you got to do that in
less than 3 paragraphs.
Yeah, 3 sentences. You know.
I agree.
Anyway, I'm one of those guys. I'm one of those guys though that I think you don't even need that. Like Logan's Run and Blade Runner, all these great movies start with a crawl, which you kind of have to do because it's a future world that no one knows about yet, but a super drug world, we're kind of there now, right? And it gives everybody powers and abilities. You don't need to explain that. Just start on it.
I don't think we're past needing those kind of crawls anymore. Like that's what I love about manga and Japanese. They just put you into a world. Right. It's like, here's the world, it's fish world. What are you gonna do, right?
That's what the splash page is for.
Yeah.
Shoot somebody, have somebody shooting the thing in their eye and going, God damn this stuff, it's interacting with my RNA. And you're off to the races. Anyway.
So the idea here is, okay, here we open on G.I. Joe's secret Arctic base. And sure enough, there's something going on, secret shadowy cabal, but there's this guy who's on the drug. And he's a secret assassin. He's coming here to tell him he's going to expose them, but now he's got to escape. And so we've set up the conflict between our RNA enhanced hero and his government agent. Oh, and his name is Revenant.
Aren't they all?
I'm guessing named shortly after the Leonardo DiCaprio movie came out. I'm guessing, because I'd never heard that word before, that movie, personally.
Yeah.
So I mean, art-wise, this is not what I would call top tier stuff, but it's definitely not bottom of the barrel either. It's serviceable storytelling, sexy broads, and business types that seem all business. We have high-tech assassins in like impractical clothing. Facial scars, missing pupils, and a techno earpiece. It's a trifecta.
I have that on my bingo. Yeah. Wait.
Let's see what else we got. So it's really it's a Stormwatch-ish type scenario, super powered superheroes, but with a kind of paramilitary twist. Little portals she can plop open and do things, and lots of dudes with guns and cool costumes. That's cool. That's a cool looking outfit. I don't think I could get away with it, but maybe you probably could.
I don't know. I gotta do some more sit-ups.
So I mean, I did read this, and it's a little bit like reminds me of a lot of 90s comics, which is obviously what this person was inspired by and loved and was inspired to do. And apparently actually started back in 91. So I guess
makes sense.
I guess it makes sense. I mean, there's not much telling me about this. It says published by Scattered Comics. Oh, this is issue number 5, by the way. It says issue number 1 here. I just noticed on the inside there is an indicia. This is issue number 5. It was published in 2016. Oh, you can't see that. It's published in 2016 by Scattered Comics.
Is that the one? Is that the one where the covers don't match up?
Yes, this is the one with the.
There you go. They took issue 5 and put a new cover on it. That's what happened there.
Oh, you think?
Yeah.
It didn't even occur to me. No, it can't be. No? It can't. No, Larry, because DC is on the inner cover.
Oh, right. Wow, I don't know. That's the weirdest thing.
So I don't get it. Get it. I'm sorry, Edge. Okay, so I'm gonna say Edge. If I saw this in a comic shop, I probably wouldn't buy it. I'm sorry to say.
I like the logo. The logo's cool.
Okay, nice drop shadow. Good design.
They're doing the job, right? I mean, it's the thing about indie guys. It's like you're being super kind and going that. Well, he's inspired by '90s comics, but it's not. It's like, I mean, I feel that it's you're ripping off something that's already there. That if you're going to spend all the time and energy and money to do a comic book, it has to be the comic book that we only get from you, because then otherwise you can get 90s inspired spy stuff with super drugs anywhere.
And I'm sorry, I didn't give the credits again.
I bet your babysitter is doing super drugs right now.
I know. Manipulating my children's RNA. All right, Marvin Wynn, created and written by, pencils, art direction by Mark V. That's a cool name, though. I
love it. I would call him Mark V forever.
Totally.
Like he's Iron Man armor.
Colors by Stephen Lisevsky and Luis Antonio Delgado. Letters by James Reed. Ooh, James Dube, president. We've got a whole creative staff and marketing. The marketing director. I need to contact TC Fuller immediately. Okay. Now let's go to another one. This is, again, I apologize because I don't remember if this came in the same package or separately, and I just have not had the time to do the research I normally like to do. But this was really interesting to me. The Music Maker was not what I expected at all from the cover. What would you just looking at this cover? Larry, what is this? What is this about?
Somebody loves David Bowie and drugs.
So to me, I was immediately going like elves for whatever reason.
Yeah, I like the smoke is a treble clef. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and Music Maker, cool name. I guess.
That logo though is impossible to read.
Yeah, it's the logo that made me think of like Caliber Comics and those kind of books, and that's what took me in like a dark Poison Elves direction or something.
Right. I gotcha.
And the pointed ears. Okay, it has nothing to do with, and the moon maybe, but it has nothing to do with any of that stuff. Okay. So forward, a good hero is easy to find. So we got a big thing here that's basically like, okay, this is an anti-hero story. Okay, that's what this tells us. But then this person, Chelsea Abdullah Daisuke, I think that's a cartoonist. She says, I'm convinced that the Music Maker is like the music technology it features, a kind of hypnotizing magic. There's one scene, a particular dreamlike sequence that is so surreal and memorable, it's still imprinted in vivid colors on my mind. Okay, and I start reading this and I go, well, this is a black and white comic. So how did that work? But there was a surprise. So anyway, we get into this and we get to see our players. This is really kind of I'm going to go more transmetropolitan than anything else. It's she's sort of a hacker type, the Music Maker. She's really known as the Maestro, I guess. Sort of a hacker type. And she's when we first get into her, she's in a jail in Thailand for muling drugs. And turns out she has created a sort of musical hypnosis. So if you listen to the music that she has played, she can make you see things or not see things with this music. So it's a technological magic, okay? And when she's picked up in this Bangkok jail, and government agents have sort of approached her and are sort of interrogating her and trying to get her to flip and be on their side. And then this, when we start going a little bit further, she gets, I think the art is beautiful, really, really well done in black and white. And then I flipped, and then I realized we were getting to the dream sequence in the vivid color section. And this is where I was not expecting it at all, but it's beautiful. It's really well done. And it just gets, it's really fun to look at. It's got a kind of Simon Bisley-ish look to the artwork, maybe Jamie Hewlett type. Some really cool stuff. Dialogue and music, a lot of poetry, and a lot of it was fun to read. It was engaging. It read well. Not too much dialogue on every page, which is a problem on many comics that I read. Like, this flowed and read very well. The pacing was good, and it ended sort of on a cliffhanger of basically a serious, somebody has stolen her technology and is using it to kill people and disguise and remove themselves by playing this music and using this music. So that's a high concept. Her technology has been perverted. Now she's going to work for the government, track down the serial killer. The Music Maker. I really liked it. I want to read more.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love the art. I don't even have any notes on that, except you get rid of the forward and the inside front cover stuff.
Yeah,
that's just all nonsense that you don't need, and change the logo. And
this is unattractive.
That's ready to go.
Yeah, this book gets better and better looking as it goes. Like, it starts off awful, actually. Like, this is ugly. I'm sorry, it's not great.
Yeah, you don't need it either. That's the thing.
And it's unnecessary.
It's not for the tone that you described either. Like us, follow us, subscribe. No, that's back cover stuff, if you have it at all.
Yeah, yes. Yeah. But right away, as soon as I got into the main story, I was like, yes, okay, this is an artist. This is a comic artist.
I'll tell you one thing, Dan. I'd read that right now if you had one in front of me.
Absolutely.
That's great. So who is it? Chelsea something. See, just the fact that I remembered her first name is amazing.
Well, let's see. No, that was the introduction by Chelsea Abdullah. This is art. It's art by Andres Quezada with a Z. Story by S.K. Malvo with an X, and lettering by Same.
What's they have a URL in there?
Yeah, let's see.
Yeah.
Thanks, Larry. You always you remind me of the key stuff.
So let's see. The marketing, man. You know that.
Well, there's comic book publishing by, I guess this is the printer, maybe, or the publisher. I don't know if this is them or not.
What's the one?
Oh, here we go. Music Maker Comics with an X.com. Twitter.com/Music Maker Comics with an X. Facebook.com/Music Maker Comics with an X.
Yeah, that's cool. They should have
a barcode.
There you go.
Points just for having a barcode. No ISBN, but I'll take what I can get.
Well, yeah. Wait, floppies don't have ISBNs, do they? That's for trade.
You can. They can. They have no reason they can't.
I guess you're right. Yeah,
they can. Okay.
Anyway, that one's great. I like that one.
This was a great one.
That passes the flip test. Okay. I don't have notes on that. I got quibbles. Which, that's a solid B. You've done the job.
Yeah, most of the problems with that one were not about the comics at all. The comic creation, great. It's production values, it's post-production and stuff like that. Here's an example of a magazine. I didn't even know they made these magazines anymore. This is like a music weekly magazine, okay, called Birdie. And Noah Van Sciver. I don't know. You read any of Noah's comics?
No.
Oh, Larry, you got it.
Wait, Van Sciver, isn't that the...
It's his brother.
Oh, no, I haven't read any of those.
Oh, my goodness.
Is it good?
It's great. It's not good. Yeah. It's great. It's great. Nice. You need to read Fante Buskowski immediately, and you will. You'll pee yourself laughing. You'll pee yourself laughing at Fante Buskowski. Guaranteed, Larry. That's a guaranteed Larry laugh.
All right.
Okay, cool. So this is an art magazine, a weekly out of, I believe, is it Boulder? Somewhere in Denver or Colorado. Is it Denver? Maybe Denver. And you know, when Noah was on the channel, he talked about that he had comics in here, and I said I wanted to see them. Are they ever going to be collected? And he's like, no chance, never. But Birdie was watching, and they sent me a stack of mags to check out and talk about on the show, and here they are. I'm trying to find Noah's comic. He did the cover of this one, and he's got comics in most of them. Here, wait a minute, let me leave that cover up for a second. You know, he's definitely an indie guy, you know, not a more cartoony style and everything else, but always funny stuff. Always funny. When he's trying to be funny, it's actually funny, Larry.
Wow, why is there no chance of this getting collected? That looks great already.
I think it's awesome too.
Yeah,
there's a chance.
That stuff.
When he hits it big, he'll put out the best of Noah V, whatever, you know, the uncut years or whatever. Yeah, this is great. So wait a minute. Yeah, he's talking about the new superhero blockbuster and the creator, right? The original creator of Firing Fox, who's like it's the new summer blockbuster, and he's my daughter died and I have to live at the YMCA. My creation was ripped away from me and I need medical attention.
Oh God.
The hipsters are like, dude, he was ripped off. Frankel, boycott him, man. But anyway, the movie grossed $2 million. The kids love it. And as for Philip Frankel, who gives a shit about some sick old loser? Let's have fun. The end, fuck everything.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Tons of great comics like that. Tons of funny stuff. Birdie Magazine. Nice production values. I guess this is a free weekly. If this is free, it's a great value. I'll say that because it's a beautifully done and produced magazine. I haven't read much of the articles yet, but definitely pretty to look at.
It doesn't look like there's any ads in it. That can't be free.
There's some ads.
Oh, are there?
There's ads.
All right, cool. Yeah,
it's cannabis stuff, you know.
I got you.
Colorado, so they got some ads. This looks like a free weekly. I mean, I don't know, maybe it's not.
It's cool.
It is cool, and I thanked them, and it was free to me, and worth every penny. I'll say it.
Their covers are great.
Okay, this one was not sent to me free, but it was sent to me. Friend of the show, Jim Rugg. I just wanted to pull this out because I never got to look inside of it. I got one more that was sent in. I'm saving for last, Larry.
Okay, I'm here for you.
So this is Octobriana. Have you heard of this?
No. Oh, yes, I have. Yes.
World's first.
To see, how does TSYRY look like Octobriana? But yes, I have heard of it.
This is the world's first black light comic.
Right.
Printed in all black light ink. It's hard to do it justice even on camera. You have to see it in person, and it's better off under a black light. Let me see what I can do.
I love format stuff like that. That's crazy cool. Like the Music Maker with where they just go to color in the middle.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
Fooling with format is the best thing ever because it covers a lot of weaknesses. You don't have to be a great artist, but this guy obviously is because, like you said, that's a real trick to get black light to work. That even works without the black light. That's cool.
It does. It really does. Well, and that's where I thought actually it's so cool looking. I wondered if it's even possible to do this, but using this as a spot technique instead of doing the entire page that way would really be a way to make something pop and stand out. I'm in favor of that.
Yeah.
Let's see. All right. In favor of popping. I gotta get my technical act together here, Larry. I'm sorry, man.
No, you're good because I'll talk about the tank. The explosion was cool, but I also like the birdie cover, where the guy was walking away from the explosion because you almost saw that in motion. You could, because that's every shot in every action movie ever, where something blows up and you don't look behind you because you're too cool. Like that. Oh, yeah. That's awesome.
This is cool. I can just duck out of the way. I love that.
This kind of reminds me of Black Diamond a little.
Black Diamond for me, I do Planet Lair.
Yeah. Whoever wrote that is a genius.
Do you ever see what was that? What was that movie in the 80s, Larry? You'll know this one where the guy had the car powered by water.
How the car powered by water?
Yeah, I have to remind. It's a classic. So anyway, Jim Rugg. This is Jim Rugg's book. Jim's a pro. He's been around for years.
Yeah. This is obviously sharp stuff.
Really, really fun, cool looking stuff. And it's supposedly like it's got a backstory behind it. He put out a whole process zine behind it. Like he put out so much back material as additions to the Kickstarter thing. I got the signed book plate. Thank you for supporting Octobriana. And I got one of the prints I think I'm still waiting for. Another great book. Last but not least, Larry, this one, man, when this one showed up, I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I've never heard of this thing. Okay, this is a box set. It's a 3-volume hardcover set. Okay, this is Gladstone's School for World Conquerors. Okay, and this guy, Smith, what's his name? Mark Andrew Smith. This guy, he's a force to be reckoned with. I'm sorry. Okay, I thought this has got a high. I could give you. I don't. It doesn't say the high. I'll tell you the high concept pitch. It's Harry Potter for supervillains. Okay, it's Hogwarts for supervillains. Right. That's the concept. High concept behind it. Yeah. But like anything else, it's all execution. Right. So let's take a look inside. I'll just let you. I'm not going to say anything. I'll just let you take a look at it inside here.
Well, I already love it because Gladstone's School for World Conquerors already tells you it's Hogwarts for supervillains. Exactly. So he's done the job, right? And it's 3 volumes of hardcover. All right, he's done the job. Like it doesn't.
Box set.
Yeah, it almost doesn't matter because it's clear that he knows what he's doing.
Spot varnish here on the cover.
Yeah,
just on the title.
And this is self-published.
This has no publisher on it. Maneki Neko Books. I believe this guy lives is out of the Philippines. I'm not even sure. I haven't done the research I need to do. Because I just haven't. But I will. And I reached out to this guy and I want to talk to him because Oh
wait. Go back to the inside. I just saw DJ Kirkbride is in there. He's a Facebook buddy of mine. The Indicia. One more. Yeah. See, edited by DJ Kirkbride. Yeah, these guys are all serious.
I've never heard of any of them, and that's what I loved.
Yeah. DJ's a Facebook friend of mine, so I'm gonna as soon as I get done, I'm gonna get on Facebook and go, what the hell, man? How come I didn't know about this?
And no joke. No joke. It's this is not like if this were coming out as comics, it's probably not the comic I would read. But if I was a kid reading this, I'd be into it. It's really, really well written and well done. That's all I'm going to say. I've given away too much already. I want to hear your opinion.
Where'd you get this?
He mailed it to me.
They just sent it to you, huh? Yeah, no, this is obviously
set.
This is obviously somebody that knows what they're doing.
This is a $60 box set.
Yeah, what was that thing that Paul Smith and Kirk Busiek did? Leave It to Chance. I don't know if I got. That's maybe it was James Robinson.
Yeah, that was wrong.
Yeah. It reminds me a little of that. The whole no, this is great. I mean, there's nothing.
All ages, high stakes. The fun concept is, it's super villains, but there's definitely a twist. A humongous twist with it. It's the kids of supervillains, right? So it's Runaways meets Harry Potter, but it's all in execution in these characters, the artwork, the colors, the storytelling is all super solid. Like as good as any of this kind of stuff that I've read, and much better than a lot of all ages stuff I see out there.
It's kind of a short conversation, right? Because this is obviously professional. It's like, nice work.
Well, I'm just so impressed, and that I don't see a major publisher's name on it at all. I don't know if this person even bothered to shop it to a publisher or just decided they could do it themselves. But Man, they did it, and they did it incredibly well. I mean, I was sucked into the story. I've read only the first 2 volumes because of, you know, the personal things that happened to me. I was going to read it.
Sure.
And I was trying furiously to catch up. I finished volume 2 just before the show started, and I cannot wait to read volume 3. Honestly, really, really good story. The thing I love about any kind of just superheroes. Okay, Larry, you think superheroes stink, right? All right. But here's what's great about superheroes.
I'm just not the audience anymore, man. I'm going to be 57 in a couple of weeks.
I get it. But put yourself in 12-year-old Larry's shoes. And
my kid would love this.
What I mean, he really would.
Yeah.
I mean, because he's the son of an evil genius, and these are children of evil geniuses.
Like I said, I'm getting off the show and emailing DJ Kirkbride right now. So,
dude, there's mythology behind it. Cosmic spanning mythology. It's magical plus science fiction. It's everything great about superheroes. And then there was one section. I hope I can find it. I wish I had marked this page.
If only they had put a marking ribbon in the book.
Only there was a ribbon, right? Well, there's no page numbers, which is a pet peeve of mine. But if you're not going to have page numbers, you must have a book ribbon. So
I get the no page numbers. That's an aesthetic thing. Sometimes that really messes up what you're planning. This art and the presentation is so clean. I would yell at them if they put page numbers in there.
Well, and there's one part where this mummy girl character goes off about comic books, because there's a whole comic meta connection in this thing as well. And she reads comics, but she didn't read superhero comics at all. And she goes off about the power and the aesthetics of comics. There's a dedication to Scott McCloud in here.
Oh,
this
cool.
is one of those things where this is that generation of cartoonists now that's come along that is just, they're so far past just looking at superhero stuff, and they are open to the whole world. There's such a manga influence here, yet a Western influence, and I love this comic. Can you tell that I love this comic?
Yeah, you should. That's the stuff right there.
It really is, and I'm super, super impressed that with the quality of the stuff. Okay. Guys, that's all I got for $1 Million Comics Cam. I want to go back to the mail room for a second, if I can, and let's talk, Larry, because this is the world that we're in now, right? Where why do you need a publisher? Why would anyone? Would AIT? Would you be in business today, or would all those guys have just been kickstarting, or what?
It's hard to say. I mean, the stuff with our company, it's so much of its time. Like, everybody does original graphic novels now, so we got attention just because we were doing something no one else was doing. Like our first. Nobody remembers this, but Rob and Steve Snell of Gundog Comics published the first floppies of Astronauts in Trouble. So our first book was the script collection, Making of Astronauts in Trouble, which I did for the express purpose of people are asking me all the time, how do you write comics? And instead of explaining to them that you need to, write for 25 years before you try this.
Right.
There was no real format and no publicly available scripts except for Neil Gaiman's script in the back of Sandman 8, and there was an Alan Moore thing about Twilight of the Gods was published somewhere. It was 2000 AD or something, but there was nothing besides those two things. So I was like, well, I'll publish my book, and it was worth it. You got to say Alan Moore, Neil Gaiman, and Larry Young in the same sentence. If you were talking about writing. So, and that book was crazy, and it did 2 printings. So, I don't know. That was a thing that wouldn't happen now, because who cares, right? There's all kinds of. I did a book called True Facts about marketing. That is basically now you can find everything in that book in a 2-second Google search. I mean, I did a whole chapter on how to write press releases. It's like people know how to do that, or they can find it instantly now. So a lot of the stuff that we did was just kind of ahead of the curve. And so I don't think it would happen now. I think everybody would be doing their stuff on Kickstarter and Indiegogo, and there's kind of no reason for big publishers anymore.
That's
what
I kind of feel the same way. And some of our some of the people watching.
Yeah, there's nobody stopping you from getting an audience, is what I'm saying. I mean, obviously you need big publishers, but nobody's stopping you from connecting with your fans.
Yeah. Mr. Dongs says, longtime watcher, frequent commenter. In my opinion, the barrier for entry into the public space has been crumbling for the past 50 years, and publishing is just one aspect of that. Hard to argue with, right? I mean,
well, indie comics was always about that anyway. I mean, the barrier to entry, it's not like shooting a film, right? Where you need a infrastructure and film and cameras and stuff. You just need typing paper and a flare pen, and you can make a comic. So now you just have to scan it and put it online, and you're a comics professional. If you do good, so it's only quality now that is the problem, and not, impact really.
Yeah, or reach or scope, right? The ability to print. It's all those barriers to entry are gone. Like, I mean, how about having a live TV show about comic books, Larry? Like,
yeah, hey,
you thought that was possible?
That's true. That's true. You're a superstar, man.
Oh wait, JT Gamer asks, is X-Men Epic Collection Second Genesis worth it? I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, me neither. I don't even know what he's talking about.
I don't know either. Man, Larry, so we got a few more minutes. Let's talk a little bit. Let's talk about Larry's stuff. Okay.
What do you want to talk?
Let's talk about Larry's stuff. Tell me about Star Trek, Larry. Tell me why. Because, dude, all I read on your Facebook page, it's either like, this is the worst, this person does not understand Star Trek, or like these guys get it. Tell me what's the state of Star Trek right now as a Trekkie.
Yeah, what's going on now is kind of funny. I mean, I was one of the OG guys. I'm super old. I saw the last season in '69 live, so I dressed up like Spock when the first movie came out in 1979. I've been doing Star Trek forever. I wrote an MTV special. We shot on the Star Trek sets, the bridge set with Marina Sirtis. I got some Star Trek chops, some Star Trek cred. So I'm not shy about telling people what I think about Star Trek. There you go. The Constitution class bridge. Anyway, the Kurtzman era guys, I mean, they don't know what they're doing. Discovery is a shit show. I don't know. Where do we start? I love the Lower Decks cartoon that's on, which is crazy because I don't really like cartoons, but that show nails it. It's just, they just had their 8th episode yesterday, and every episode is crazy good Star Trek, crazy funny comedy, and it's a really entertaining and satisfying 22-minute show just alone. So like at every metric you can look at, that one blows it out of the park, and nobody talks about it. I don't understand.
And that one's on the Lower Decks, you said?
It's called Star Trek Lower Decks, and it follows the B team of the second contact ships. First contact, all the cool guys with the white teeth and happy smiles, and these are kind of like the scrubs of the Federation. And in the conceit of that show, even the officers, aren't the top of the Federation, but the show follows like the guys on the lower decks. I mean, they sleep in hallways. There's just nothing about that show that is perfect. Yeah,
I want to check it out. Oh, speaking of Lower Decks, wait a minute. How about this?
Now you're beaming in.
Larry, I've been working on this stuff just for you, buddy. Dude, I got
that's awesome.
It's all for you.
You have all the best toys. I love you found that stuff. That's that's the bridge. You had the old engineering deck. That's pretty cool.
So
I mean, Star Trek.
So your feeling on the new stuff on CBS though has just been like it is purely doesn't get Star Trek. So tell me, that's what I want to try to understand, Larry. Make me understand what is Star Trek and what are they missing?
Well, here's the thing. The Discovery show is clearly being led from the top down. Like they have the Star Trek frosting of the cake, but the inside, when you cut into it and want to serve it, it's not a cake. It's just like old oysters and worms and stuff. It looks like a cake on the outside. It's a quality show. The production value is crazy good. It's great, but they don't understand the themes of Star Trek. Like, they kind of don't even understand how to do storytelling. Like, all the people running it, the first season anyway, which is on TV now on CBS Network. They just started yesterday, I think, showing what was new to the streaming platform 3 years ago, which is cool. You get a new audience, except now we know the ratings. The streaming guys don't, there's no way to tell
Right.
the ratings. But last night, the overnight ratings were 1.7 million people, which was a 0.2 ratings point. And then it did not beat the rerun of Bull that was in the same time slot 2 weeks ago. So here we all are dying for new content. There's a whole bunch of people that want to see new Star Trek. They put it back on and nobody cares.
I mean, isn't it true? Don't you think, though, that if it had not already been out for 3 years and everybody who cared at all about Star Trek would have sought it out and watched it, that maybe it would have made a bigger splash?
That's certainly what they're telling people. I think that if you really cared about Star Trek, there's talking about barriers of entry. You have to like seek out. You have to have a computer. You have to have the streaming service. It's $10 a month. You have to. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff where, it's really easy to be kind of interested in Star Trek and have missed 3 years of Star Trek Discovery. I don't know. It's worse though.
Yeah.
Picard is worse.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you about. That's one that looked to me like I had higher hopes for, and I thought
they have no excuse for the not understanding what Star Trek is. The guys who started Discovery were all like young adult guys that from Beverly Hills 90210. So they're just, and they all watched Game of Thrones and they were like, okay, let's do what we know how to do, but put Star Trek shellac on it. So I kind of get why that didn't work. But Picard, oh my God, I'm not going to ruin the end of it because you don't care when I tell you the end of it is Picard dies and they make him into a Data type robot that looks and sounds exactly like Picard, has all his memories, and will only last until Patrick Stewart dies, like his natural lifespan. Right?
Okay.
And he has no extra powers. He doesn't have, bionic vision. He can't pick up a truck. He's just a guy who's a robot now, which is literally the opposite of thematic Star Trek, which is the human adventure is just beginning. So, you're going out, explore strange new worlds. It's how human beings interact with that. Commentary from storytelling standpoint, a commentary on, the human condition. Except now the guy that you really enjoyed for 7 years, 20 years ago, has come back and doing this cool thing. Oh, yeah. And then he's not the motive power of the scenes because he's 108 years old. So he's not running and beating up the Borg Queen. So they hang the whole thing on younger actors. So the one guy that you care about is kind of sitting there being old, and then he dies, and now he's a robot. And you're like, wait, what? What? It's very disappointing. And that's why Lower Decks it blows my mind. Because it's something that I don't care about. Those are the guys that completely understand Star Trek. It's amazing.
I think when they can take away like some of the stakes like that, it's got to be this grand vision of Picard or whatever, and you can just take it into like, let's just have fun in the Star Trek universe, which frankly what I thought the Orville was for, which is another show that you really like, right?
Yeah, I love the Orville. But it's the same thing.
How's that stack up? Like to me, it was like this is the Orville. This is their kind of their version.
Their version of Star Trek?
No, like Orville came first. It's been around a couple seasons.
With Lower Decks.
Yeah. Let's make fun of us. They're making fun of us. Let's do it ourselves.
I think it's a little cleaner, more honest concept that Mike McMahon, the showrunner of Lower Decks, just went, oh, people like that. Well, let's really play up the humor in Star Trek. I mean, that guy, I could sit with him and just do a Mystery Science Theater 3000 against a couple episodes like the Omega Glory or Menagerie or Corbomite Maneuver, and it would come out like an episode of Lower Decks. And I think that's why it's resonating with Star Trek fans because it's like they throw in 100 references but don't make a big deal about it, and it's just fun. You're like, oh my god, but they hang it on a real story, and I don't know, it's great.
Okay, Larry. Objective question. Like, there is an answer. There's a correct answer to this question.
Okay.
It seems like there's not, but there is.
Okay.
What is the best original series episode?
The original, the Kirk, Spock, and McCoy ones?
Yeah.
The best episode?
Yeah. I'll give you two. You can hit one or two.
There's no objective answer because I think most people would say City on the Edge of Forever, Edith Keeler Must Die.
Good one.
Or some people go Trouble with Tribbles because that's lighthearted. I personally think Omega Glory is the best one ever. It's the one where with the Exeter, the Yangs and Combs, the Star Spangled Banner, the Id Pleb Mista. You don't remember this?
I'm just trying to remember.
Captain Kirk just going insane. We the people. It's one bigger than all the rest. Yeah. Read on me. I am the worship word. You shall not speak it. Come on, you don't know that one? That's the best one.
Your Shatner is freezing the screen. Like when you went into Shatner, like it was too much. You overloaded Zoom.
Yeah, I don't know. What's your one that you say is the best? I'm sure you're
right.
It's
gotta be Arena.
Yeah, Arena. That's a great one.
Or Space Seed. To me, it's always Space Seed is because of the way they tied it to Star Trek 2. The through line are so perfect. It's the first time like they ever, to me, in movies did something like that, right? Where it was they resurrected the TV and then brought back the obscure villain from one episode who became a star since then. Like everything about that is the greatest.
You're right. Except what's the best Star Trek before Star Trek 2 comes out, right? You can't say, oh, this is great because of Wrath of Khan, because you got to take it by themselves. My sister would say Amok Time, the one where Spock gets married. She loves that one.
I love the Spock hippie, the one with the hippies. And or Spock in Vulcan puberty in combat against Kirk is, it doesn't get too much better than that.
I did say my sister liked that one because there's girls, right?
Yeah. Oh, that's the one. That's the one she was. I didn't remember the name of that episode.
Yeah. That's a good one. They're all good. They're all good. The flying pancake one, Operation Annihilate. You were so worried about his Vulcan eyes, you forgot about his Vulcan ears. They show that's the one where Kirk's brother gets killed and they flip him over and it's William Shatner and the cheesiest disco mustache ever.
Whoa. Why am I blanking? Man, it's been too long since I've watched the original series.
Oh, come on. It's not in your head forever? Because it's in mine.
They are, but there's key episodes. There's nothing more than itched in my mind than the Gorn and making gunpowder on a planet.
Sure.
Something like, come on.
Yeah, I know. That's a great one. Have you ever been out there to Vasquez Rocks where they filmed that?
No, I won't.
Yeah, it's great. It's just outside of LA. Went down there once and ran around. It looks exactly like what you think. It's awesome.
I'd have to hurl boulders at someone.
Yeah, styrofoam boulders.
Yeah, I would bring some. That's cool. Movie magic here at Comic Book News.
Yeah.
All right, Larry, you've been a great sport. I wish I had brought you on here sooner, and I know that I'm going to invite you back again and again and again. And we'll come back and we'll do more. Would you do more like comic? Because I thought that was great.
Yeah, absolutely. Send them to me though, so I can read it, and I'll be like, all right, here you go.
I'm gonna figure that out. We're gonna figure that out. Okay, everybody. So that was Larry
for doing those backgrounds though. That was awesome.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm working on a whole Star Trek thing. That's just been a side project. Excellent. Just remember though, if you want to have your comics or be a guest on Comic Book News, send me an email. comicnews@dansheen.com or anything at dansheen.com. It comes to me. Larry, thanks a lot. I'm going to play my old closing credits, I guess, from last week, but I got to stop them before the cameo at the end because I got a copyright thing from one of my clips last time. I thought it was public domain, but it wasn't.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I blew it. Guys, I work hard. at this stuff, but it's work, man. That stuff doesn't just happen by itself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People think it does. Anyway,
Larry, thank you so much. Thank you. I had a blast. It's always good talking to you.
Larry, you got your own show. Why don't you tell the people where and tell them, give them a plug. What's a Larry plug?
My kid and I do pop culture interviews of each other, comments on stuff that is going on, called Dork Court. And it comes from, remember, never mind. Dork Court. We tell you what. Dork Court. Yeah.
All right. Well, check it out on YouTube, right?
Yeah, on YouTube.
Subscribe, like, comment.
Absolutely.
Larry's in the family. I've known this guy for decades now, and he's always been a pal, and he's been there when, sometimes when I need some help. Larry, you were there to help me out, and I appreciate it.
Man, I appreciate you.
Okay, thanks, pal.
Although you killed me with that dark beard thing. He killed me.
I remember young dark strapping Larry.
Yeah,
what happened?
You were skinny. I remember. Dark. You had hair. Now you don't know.
What happened?
What happened?
All right, thanks, pal. I gotta talk out, and then I'll see you around.
Right.
Thanks very much, man.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you. Stay out of trouble.
Thanks. All right, everybody. Hey, thank you for watching Comic Book News. It's been a weird one. It's a weird time slot. We didn't have everybody we normally have watching, and it's different. This show is gonna get different. I'm changing it up. It's not just gonna be interviews. It's gonna be all kinds of crazy stuff. You guys cannot believe some of the stuff I got planned coming up. I can't even tease it yet because it's so exciting and still just in the works, but soon enough, I will have it for you. So anyway, thanks for watching Comic Book News. Thank you for liking, subscribing, commenting, just engaging. The fact that you watch the show and comment and like it means that you really, really like comics, because only the hardest core people that really like comics are kind of the people that are into this show, and that's how we like it here. So thank you for watching. I'm going to play the closing credits, and I'm probably going to end it right before they finish, so no cameo this week, but thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. I guess I'll do my own cameo. Ugh! Cotton, I've got to have 30 minutes!